Hello, class, and greetings from my mobile office. As an entrepreneur, spend a lot of time in this vehicle, but not to worry, I'm not driving. Actually parked in a parking lot, but wanted to get today's video recorded and out there for you so that we can have an awesome start to our Unit 2 discussion this week. And as you've seen, our Unit 2 discussion this week is going to deal with ethics and ethical considerations to take into consideration when you're negotiating a situation. And the question asks you about different ethical variables and what are some of those variables. And the reality of it is that it really seems to be endless, in that almost any variable that you could take into consideration is something that could either be ethical or that it could not be. And so one tool that I want to share with you today are the 3 ethical checkpoint questions that you can ask yourself whenever you are in a negotiation or an ethical situation. So the first one is the situation illegal? Is what you're entering into a legal situation. Now, that's not to confuse that ethical is always legal and that legal is always ethical, because they are not one and the same. But for the most part, as a general rule of thumb, is that if it's illegal, then we're probably not headed down a good road, and you really need to stop at that point. One of the biggest things that we talk a lot about here is negotiating contracts. And so when we look at negotiating the contract, is the contract legal? There was one time where I was asked to negotiate on a situation where there was a nasty divorce going on, and one of the spouses told me that I didn't need to worry about, getting in contact with the other spouse, that they were given full power to make all the decisions when it came to selling their home. No, trust me, not so much. So you need to know, is it legal? Okay, so that's question 1. Question 2 is it a win-win situation? So when you're negotiating, are both parties benefiting from what is going on in negotiations? So that's what we mean by, is it balanced? Is it win-win? Are both parties getting something out of it? I use an example a lot of times with students when it comes to having somebody else do your homework. Well, is it illegal? Technically, there's no laws against it, so you're okay. But is it against academic policy? Yes, that's a whole different subject. But if you were talking about this just now, let's say you're negotiating one of your classmates to do your homework, is it legal? Well, yeah, technically it is. Is it balanced? Is it win-win? Well, let's say that you just asked the classmate to do it because, they wanted to be friends with you. Like maybe this is high school, and like, oh, I'll let you sit at the cool kids lunch table. Well, it's not really win-win. One person really isn't getting a lot out of it. So parties need to be balanced. You don't want to be taking advantage of a situation. So anytime in a negotiation that one party is truly being taken advantage of, regardless if they realize it or not, that's not an ethical situation. Some people know they're being taken advantage of. It's their decision, and there's a lot of variables that can go into play at that as well. Are they in a situation personally where they kind of don't have a choice, and so they're at the mercy of it? Are they of sound mind and body that they can be making those decisions, even though they might comprehend it on some level? Are they actually able to comprehend that? So, really making sure it's balanced. And then the final one is, how would it make you feel about yourself? And this is one where I always put a little caveat at the bottom of it, because I have found, unfortunately, that the world is truly filled with good people. I truly believe that the world is mostly filled with good people, but there are some people out there who can make very ethical or illegal decisions, not care, that they feel completely okay about it. And so how will it make me feel? I always like to add on the component of, how would it make me feel if somebody else found out? So if your spouse were to find out, if the other party that you were dealing with were to find out that you were doing something shady, the law were to find out, your grandma, whatever the case may be, and if you would not want anybody to know what it is that you're doing, you're probably, once again, not in a ethical situation. So that's the thing that I wanted to share with you today when we're talking about negotiations and ethical decisions. So first off, is it legal? Is it balanced? And how does it make you feel? Those 3 questions will help you have a successful and ethical negotiation. Looking forward to an awesome discussion this week. Thanks, everyone.